Hi guys, how we doing? Hope you're all doing well. So we're going to be going over the unemployment claims out of the US today at 1:30 p.m. Going to be looking to see how this comes out, how it plays in terms of what we're expecting to happen to the US dollar. Still a lot of talk about the debt ceiling situation going on at the moment. Hi Bongo, hope you're well, mate. So we got 3 minutes to go until the announcement. 3 minutes 15 seconds. So we'll see what happens to the US dollar. Let me know what you think is going to happen to the unemployment claims and how the market could potentially react. Hi D. Hi Zenzi. Hope you're well. Right, so unemployment claims. Going to be looking at how they come out. So we've got an expectation of a drop to 253k. Obviously, they still want to see this unemployment claim at quite a high level in order to back up their claims of potentially pausing rates in the future. So we're going to have to see how this one comes out. How's it going to affect the US dollar? So, hi Roston. Yeah, hopefully it's going to be an interesting event. We've got the US dollar at a really interesting point at the moment. It's actually breaking through the 103 levels, coming up to the 103.10s now. So looking to see how this plays out really, because we've been talking about the sort of 103 area on the US dollar index, and if it can break higher, where could it potentially go to? So some decent moves there. Hi Yaya, probably better than expected. Okay, probably going to get some better than expected. Let's see how it comes out. We've got a minute 30 seconds till the data. Obviously, dollar at a bit of an interesting position. I managed to take a long position on dollar yen yesterday into that 102 handle. Very short term trading position. Went for a little long just through here up towards that 137.50. So this was a little bit of a scalping move through there. So only banked around about 30 pips on that one. So yeah, see how dollar yen plays out as well, because dollar yen really in an interesting position here as well. Let me just bring on. Being at this 137 spot 50, I think a break above 137 spot 50 opens the door up to a 142 move here. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting data set. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about gold lately. Gold's still in that support zone as well. So yeah, let's see how this one plays out. Euro dollar's moving nicely to the downside. We've been talking euro dollar short since the week ahead analysis video from this sort of 1.09 area here. So that's, around about 90 pips to the downside as well. So we'll see if we can kind of come a little bit lower here. I like the sort of where we're at now, we're around about the 1.08, but I do like the 1.0750 just below as well. Right, so we should have the data starting to come out. Let's see if it will update on Forex Factory. Let's go to the US dollar index here. Let's go to the hourly. So looks like we're getting a little push on the dollar. So 242 it came in at. Okay. Looking at seeing what the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index did as well. Okay, down 10.4. Okay, so it's kind of coming below those estimates there. So we're expecting 253. We're expecting a lower number. It's coming at 242. Okay, so that's an interesting little bit of data there. They want to see the unemployment claims increasing, obviously, because they want the labour market to come in a little bit sort of lower on the jobs. So we'll see how the dollar reacts here. Not really getting a massive reaction here. I expected a little bit more out of this at the moment. Kind of failing just above this 103 spot 14. See if we can trade above that. If it does go, we'll see how everything else kind of reacts with it. We've got euro dollar potentially coming down to that 1.075. Just watching Bloomberg as well, just to see if there's anything that we can catch our eyes on. Okay, well, we do have the US Fed Chairman Powell speaking tomorrow, so maybe we'll get a little bit more movement in the markets from that. Dollar seems to have rallied slightly off that news, but we know that obviously the initial move can often lead to a bit of a failed move. So we'll see how the dollar performs here, because I want to see it break above this 103. I want to see it continue to drive to the upside here. For personal reasons, obviously, I like the idea of being a buyer of the US dollar at the moment. So, want to see that euro downside. I want to see potential pound downside as well. Really interested in seeing pound break lower here. We've got this really nice bullish daily channel that we could start to break below and start to push lower on this move as well. I do quite like this, especially because we've got the opportunity for it to trade down towards the 1.1850 handle. So yeah, I'd like cable to start dropping a little bit. I hope I'm saying your name right. Hortensia. Help me join. Help you join. How can I help you join? Khalifa, I'm good, thank you. How are you, sir? Gold, you're buying gold at the moment. I wouldn't say that's necessarily a good opportunity at the moment. The dollar is getting stronger, so we're looking at gold coming into this 1950 handle. May even trade below 1950, but I do like the 1950 handle for gold here. Let me know, guys, if you're trading that news. What are you trading? What have you jumped into? Let me know. Nice breakdown here in euro dollar. So things like this could be things to watch. We were kind of discussing these things yesterday in the gold webinars. We were looking for sort of some kind of pullbacks in price to see if we could get a continuation of things to the downside. But I really like euro downside going into this week. We had that dollar breakout of the 102s, which is what's really kind of fueled our idea to see the euro dollar move lower. This break above that 102 high was something that really interested me for that dollar strength in the market. So expecting to see a little bit of downside in that euro dollar this week, and it seems to be playing out quite nicely at the moment. Unfortunately for myself, I didn't manage to get into a position on this. So unfortunately for me, I'm not in that position at the moment. Like I said, I traded dollar yen long. I've traded CAD yen long, so I did about 130 pips on CAD yen. Dollar yen did around about was about 30 pips in the end on dollar yen. Can't seem to find dollar yen. Where's that gone? There we go. See how dollar yen's performing. So yeah, like I said, did about where was it down through here? Around about 30 pips into that level of resistance. Looks like we're seeing a little bit of a breakout here now for dollar yen. I do like the opportunity here for potentially to see yen weaken further. So, 142 could be opening the doors for that. If we were to kind of get above it, what we really need to see is some kind of close above. Okay, if we get some kind of close above, that to me would be a really good sign that we could see some kind of like continuation to the upside here. What I don't want to see is sort of a rejection back down. A rejection back down would kind of equal a little bit of a failure here at the 137.50. So we could see then a move back down towards these lows. What I want to see is price closing above, maybe even a secondary close above. If we then pull back, that's fine. But as long as the retracement is fairly sort of shallow, then we can start looking for that extension up towards the 142 level on dollar yen. But dollar yen looking good here. Looks like the market's indecisive at the moment. I'd say it's kind of backed the dollar here, Royston. Initially, we've had that sort of initial move. I actually thought the unemployment claims would be a little bit of a driver this week, simply because it's what the Fed have been talking about for a while in terms of the labour market and how they are going to sort of need the labour market to, jobs created needs to come in at a lower pace. We need to see wage growth come in lower. They need to see less consumer spending, essentially, in order to try and keep that inflation rate coming down like it is. So I expected a little bit more of a jump, but maybe the debt ceiling is what's going to happen here. The debt ceiling is a little bit more in focus maybe at the moment, and investors are probably keeping their powder dry, so to say, waiting for some kind of reaction to that. Yeah, absolutely. 2 FOMC members speaking in 30 minutes or so, which may have a further impact. Absolutely. I know Powell's speaking tomorrow as well. So again, when you get those type of events coming up, investors can often sort of, like I said, stay out of the markets until they get some kind of bigger bits of data. So, guys, this is just a little bit of reaction stream at the moment. This is all we're going to be doing for we've got a couple of events coming up next week as well. I'm going to start doing one news-driven event a week, and then probably one educational webinar a week as well. So, if you have any sort of thoughts on what you want to see in terms of education-wise, let me know. I would really like Aussie US dollar to break down at the moment. New Zealand CAD. That is an interesting market to have a look at. Quite like Aussie CAD downside. Kiwi CAD I don't have on here at the moment. Let's have a look. What are you looking to do on Kiwi CAD? Short it? Yeah, currency strength for me, that's definitely coming up. I know I've said that's coming up for a while, but it is definitely coming up. We've just been working behind the scenes on a lot more different projects at the moment. But yeah, that will definitely be featured. Kiwi CAD's really interesting market at the moment. You can see that we've kind of got this kind of channel going on, haven't you? Or maybe this sort of flag pattern after quite an aggressive move to the upside here. Aggressive move up, kind of slowly making our way back down. Maybe price is going to try and push back down to breach these lows here, retest this resistance as support. Okay, then we could probably see a move back up to the highs there. CAD's quite strong at the moment though, so like I said, I bought CAD yen this week because CAD's been quite a strong market, and I like the idea of being long CAD. So I don't really know where the Kiwi is positioned at the moment. I haven't really been focusing on it. I've been focusing on a little bit more on the Australian dollar. Yeah, news is typically priced in as well. Let's just see where Aussie US dollar's positioned, because I am currently short Aussie dollar on a couple of positions there, looking to see what could happen here. So we shall see if that can continue to the downside there. It's just struggling at the moment. It's just really struggling at the moment at these kind of these areas here, at these lows. But we'll see if that can continue. Kiwi CAD, sorry. Yeah, Kiwi CAD, interesting market. I'm not too familiar with what's going on with the Kiwi at the moment, but we are getting these kind of lower highs, lower lows coming out of this weekly chart, going on to a daily time frame. We kind of, it looks like we formed a bit of a double top. We're kind of holding below this 0.84 handle at the moment, so maybe there's a bit of a room to trade to the downside, but you can see it's kind of a choppy market at the moment. So I don't really look to trade markets when they're a little bit choppy like this. I'd look sort of elsewhere, to be honest, at the moment. Whoops. Code it. Hi. Yeah. News was priced in. Yeah, I think so. Code it. Can we wait for a retest of 1975 on gold to enter a sell position? Obviously, if that's your choice to do that, that's your choice. 1975. I see what you're saying. In and around these kind of recent lows here. There's definitely potential for that. Obviously, we were looking for price to come a little bit higher originally, back up into this area. But yeah, I can definitely see why you're looking at that for a sell position. But again, that's going to be completely up to you. I can't really give you any sort of straight trading advice. But I do like the idea of price personally coming down to 1950. That's my sort of target for gold. Okay, let's see if the dollar can push a little bit higher. Like I said, I would like to see that dollar move higher. See if we can get some increase there. Just trying to see if there's anything popping up on Bloomberg. Nothing really. This break of 103 is interesting though. Like I said, if we can get some kind of closes above this area, I don't really want to see sort of, we do have this kind of high over here, which could be quite interesting. Oops. So we're in around there. So at the start of that channel, if we can trade above that, that would be I think a strong suggestion that the dollar's going to continue to trade higher. Because once we trade through that high, really, the next sort of high of interest, I would say, is all the way up here, right? And that's the way I always kind of look. I kind of look to see where that sort of selling pressure has come from in the past. So we're kind of looking around there. It's probably around about the 105, isn't it? Yeah, literally 105.01. So if I was to expand that out, it's probably something like this. Oh, got it bang on. It's unusual for MetaTrader, but there you go. Potentially the 105 could be on the cards then, breaking above 103s. The dollar index tends to like to go to these whole numbers. So once it breaks 103, you've got sort of 103.50, 104, 104.50, 105. It tends to kind of hover around the whole numbers quite a bit. You can see that down here being at this sort of 101s. Any questions, guys? Anything you're trading at the moment, let me know. Any kind of currency pairs you want me to take a look at as well? Okay, so euro dollar's kind of coming into this low, isn't it? Kind of having a little bit of an effect there. Let's see if we can get anything cool up seasonal wise. Khalifa, sir, I need an education course. We don't typically do courses, but we've got loads of free info on YouTube. So if you want to head over to the YouTube channel, if you're already watching it, we've got loads of free stuff there. If you watch that, Bongo, pound, US dollar. Yeah, let's go through cable then, because I do like the idea of cable moving to the downside. I just want to bring in, let's see, what date are we on? We're on the 18th of May, aren't we? So yeah, this is the bigger picture on cable. We've rejected that 126.50 handle. We were looking at this sort of area in the past. We were looking at the 124 area down to this 118.50 as a range. Price failed to sort of hold at the range highs. Instead, we had a breakout. And then we kind of formed another little sort of slow burning rally up until the one spot 26.50. We're now starting to break to the downside a little bit. I want a little bit more confirmation here, though, because it's not really a strong breakout just yet. You know, want to see these lows get cleared here. I think if we get those lows cleared, then it's going to be an option to potentially see pound move lower. And again, the way I'd look at, you know, where could you look for those kind of areas? I like to always kind of look at lows, and then if the lows can kind of come into a key level as well in terms of like a whole number or something like that, then that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to me. So at the moment, this area here, 23.50, it looks like. Let's see where 23.50 comes in at. 23.50 comes in here. So to me, that's a decent area of interest because we've got all these kind of lows coming in just down through there. So that could be sort of an area for price to target. If we trade through that level, then again, just kind of drag your cursor down and you can see looking left, we've got a potential level that runs sort of through here, right? Which is that sort of 122 level. I'll just pop that in there. Let's just change that to 122. But yeah, we've got that kind of level running through here then. Right. So that's the way I kind of look at things. I kind of look at it and go, well, if price is going to continue downwards, the next step is that sort of 123.50. And I always like to try and find my levels in these type of areas, right? If you go down to the H4 and you see there's like a real clear opportunity or level on the H4 as well, then by all means put that in. But I like to kind of get my levels from these type of time frames because they are sort of more sort of receptive to price, right? So that's why I'm kind of looking to see 123.50 get tested. Price trades through that, then the next sort of logical level from a daily time frame point of view is this 122 handle. You can see that it acted as resistance here, it reacted as resistance there, and then you've got those supporting points just through here as well. So 122 could definitely be on the cards. Then obviously we've got this kind of weekly level down through there, which is that 118 spot 50. If price was to continue to the downside, obviously you have to take sort of each day as it comes, because everything's so fast paced in the Forex markets. You know, one thing, one catalyst can change absolutely everything. So we have to be a little bit careful with getting too sort of dragged down in our bias of where something's going to go, right? But that's what I would say is going on for pound at the moment. Sorry, I'm just checking my Aussie position. Aussie's now starting to break the lows, which is nice. Pound yen was another one. Right, so yeah, pound yen's been really fruitful for us because we were shorting all the way at these highs up in here. I managed to catch like quite a decent short from the top for about 220 pips in there. So yeah, managed to catch that nice move. And that was back when we were talking about the aggressive move that happened on that Friday. If you remember, we had a really strong weakness in the yen, and that pushed price up into these highs here. Now, these highs were the highs back in October of 2022. And that's where we were talking about that sort of potential for rejection. And usually after we get that kind of big move to the upside, price can often pull back. So I ended up taking some short positions in and around the highs there, with the price coming back towards the sort of 168 handle through here. You can see nice sort of trend line resistance coming in here as well. A break above 170, 150 would be interesting to see if we can get any kind of moves higher there. Let's have a little look at the weekly time frame. Even the monthly probably is going to be the one to look at. Ignore the sort of writing over there, because that's going to be a little bit bunched up. You know, could we see a move potentially up to the 176 handle? You know, I have to squeeze this in a little bit. I'll put in a line here. Let's just go 176. That could be the next level of interest, because those were those monthly lows on pound yen. Now pound dollar, we've just looked at the potential for pound dollar to actually move lower. This would be more with regards to yen weakness. Okay, now I think if you're probably going to trade the yen weakness, you probably want to do it against a currency that's getting strong. So for me, that would be dollar, right? The dollar's getting stronger. Dollar yen's breaking 137 spot 50. So I'd be more interested in seeing if this market could trade higher than pound yen. But obviously, you can have a look at pound yen as well. I would just be more focused on what currency is strong, what currency is weak. We're clearly seeing that the dollar's getting stronger and that the yen's getting weaker, and that we should expect potentials for the market to potentially move higher. See you, Royston. No worries. The webinar will be up as a recording anyway on YouTube. I want to short euro dollar. I don't think it's in the right position to do that right now. It's in that sort of impulsive phase. I'd wait for that one. Code it dollar CAD. Have I got dollar CAD open? No, let's go and have a look at dollar CAD then. I also want to have a potentially look at a little stock move. See if I can find it. In the Nasdaq. I might have to try and find this elsewhere because it's going off the screen, isn't it? Yeah, I might have to come back to that one. But there is a stock that I wanted to take a look at. Sorry, what was going on? Sorry, I get distracted. Dollar CAD. Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on here, but probably should have my glasses on. Okay, dollar CAD. So again, the way I kind of look at these is I'll always go to the higher time frame first. Have a little look at where the market's positioned. Is it positioned anywhere that's, important or anywhere that's of interest? If it's not, probably leave it alone. If it is, then yeah, probably take a look at it. But the first thing I'll look at is kind of horizontal levels. You can see there's quite a distinctive level through this sort of area here. Let's take that right off. In and around these lows. So I always like to build a bigger picture. The first thing I'll do then is we'll round that to 133. And like to put a little price tag on it. The reason why I do that is because it's a little bit clearer. I'm actually going to write that one to the left. They're a little bit easier to see than these prices over here, so we'll be able to just see them a little bit more clarity. But yeah, apart from kind of trading from this 133 handle, what could we really say about dollar CAD? Maybe you've got some kind of trend line running through there. Maybe there's some kind of wedge pattern. Let's go to the daily time frame. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, so we're kind of making a move from that 133. So the next sort of point of interest would be this area in here. So again, I'll just kind of round that up. So that's 136. 136.50. Probably put that in as 36.50. Again, obviously dollar's getting stronger, so we're seeing a little bit of this move at the moment. So that would kind of be my point of interest for dollar CAD, to be honest. To me, that's in a little bit of an area where, do I want to take a position? So the way I look at the markets as well is, especially from kind of a higher time frame point of view, is where has the selling and buying come from, in the past, right? So the kind of easy way we can point that out, right, is those clear sort of highs and lows, right? So you can see these lows in here, okay? So those are areas for me where I'm really interested in potentially doing business with the market, depending on, again, what is strength and weakness saying, what are the fundamentals saying to me. Here, right now, where price is, I would say that it's personally, I'll just say it's a little bit of in no man's land, right? Because I would rather be a buyer down here, for one, because that's where we've seen strong buying in the past. Two, I'd want to be a seller up here, potentially, right? Depending on the circumstances surrounding the market. If price gets to this level here and we start to see sort of the dollar weakening, we start to see CAD gaining strength, for instance, we see maybe some seasonal reports, some COP reports showing us that we could be looking for shorts and things like that, then 136.50 would be an area where I'd say to myself, well, okay, how does price then react from a technical point of view? Do we get a projection? Do we start seeing those key patterns that I really look for? So for instance, when we look at it coming down into these sort of lows down through here, right, around about the 135 or 133 area, if I just put a line on there and I go down to my 4-hour time frame, you'll notice that there's a key pattern there. There's the potential for it to be the higher low pattern, right? Or you could argue that it may be sort of a slight, it's not quite, but it's close to being a double bottom pattern, which is, one of my favorite patterns. So, in and around this area here, again, could be an area where you'd want to be a buyer of that market. But that's where I want to do business, because when you look left, I had a really sharp reaction from that point. You have to ask yourself the question, who can drive price on a turning point, straight away. It's institutions, it's large traders, it's large positions being put into the market. So I want to trade where those large positions have been in the past. Okay, this up here, classic sort of fake out accumulation, price starts breaking lower. That's classic retail jumping on, right? We then get what you'd often see actually as well when we come into these key areas. You see large moves, right? So for instance, look at that large bullish candlestick coming into the resistance. If you see a large bullish candlestick coming into a resistance, that is also a potential sign that there's some absorption going on, right? And big liquidity takers will take the other side of that, and you can see how price reacted in there, right? Again, if I actually just delete all this just to clear it up, look how strong that bearish candlestick is there into the support, right? So that's sellers trying to get back on this move here, and then sort of a large player taking the other side of their orders, driving prices higher. Okay, so when you see large candlesticks at key areas of support and resistance, it can be a clue of some kind of absorption going on, right? Right, guys, we've been going for about 36 minutes now. Let's just have a little bit of a recoup of what's going on. Hi, Vincent. I'm doing well, thank you. Hope you're well. Yeah, we're going to be doing more of these. We're going to be trying to do 2 a week, starting from next week. Let's see how the dollar's getting on. Starting to see a little bit of it breaking above that 103 handle now. We'll see if it can hold above that 103. Euro just testing these lows here. We quite like the 107.50 area for price to come into, so we'll be watching out for that. Dollar yen, want to see it close above this 137.50 to be really interested in any kind of moves there. Obviously gold, we're talking about gold coming into 1950s, so waiting to see how price comes through there. Okay, right, so I'm going to leave it there. This will be up as a recording on YouTube after, so if you haven't managed to jump in live, then don't worry about it. It'll be on YouTube underneath the live tab. Let me just see if, because it doesn't come up as a normal video, so sometimes it's hard to. This is weird now. I'm probably going to see some inception here and see myself live. But if you go to the Blueberry Markets Facebook page, YouTube page, underneath the tabs live, you'll be able to see the recent update. Okay, so right, I'm gonna leave it there. If you do have any other questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section on the video. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. We've got a little bit of unstable Wi-Fi again. Cody, yeah, patience is the game. Patience is what will take you from being retail to pro, in my opinion. Having a lot of patience. I've been holding an Aussie short for a good few hours now. It's easy because it's tried to break for the lows on a number of occasions, but it's kind of rebounded. But I believe that the dollar's getting stronger, so I'm happy to hold it and be patient, and price has broken through the lows now. So yeah, patience definitely a big one. Right, I'm gonna leave it there, guys. I hope you enjoyed the session. If you did, leave it a thumbs up. If you're new around and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel tremendously. I'd really like to get it up to 10,000 subscribers, so if you could help me do that, that would be fantastic. If you find it useful as well, share it with your friends. And yeah, I will speak to you guys very soon. Thanks for joining me today. Cheers.